Here we're starting by defining a new class called greeting, which extends React component. This is how we create a class component in React. Within the constructor, we call super with props to initialize the parent class. We use the constructor to set up our initial state for this component, which includes a property called timesGreeted, initialized to 0. Next, we define a method called addGreeting. This is using the built-in setState method to update our state. Notice how we use a function to ensure we have the most current version of the state. We access the previous state and increment the timesGreeted property. Every class component in React must have a render method. This method returns the JSX that defines how the component actually renders in the React DOM. Inside our renders return statement, we're using JSX syntax to display a greeting message. Notice how we access the name prop using this props name. This is how data can be passed into a class component. Here we are displaying the number of times the user has been greeted. We access this state with this state timesGreeted. We have a button that when clicked, will call our addGreeting method. This interaction will result in the timesGreeted state being updated, which will re-render the component to reflect the new count. The JSX returned by the render method is closed off with a closing div tag. This is the end of our class component. Moving on to our functional component called app, which showcases the usage of the greeting component. Here, we're rendering the greeting component inside a div and passing the name prop with a value of Chris. The greeting component will receive this prop and render appropriately. And that's all for this example. We've just walked through creating a class component that manages its own state, and we've seen how to pass props from a parent component to a child component in React. Thank you for following along.